sounds good.
Welcome to our meeting on March 22nd for the Radford City Council, our regular meeting. We did have a budget work session just before, and we are in budget season, so we'll be continuing to talk about that. We do like to begin our meetings with the Pledge of Allegiance, so please rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. And if you'll also please join us in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you all very much. Council members, you have had minutes from December 14th and February 8th. Are there any adjustments to the minutes of December 14th, 2020?
There was a quick adjustment that I made. Noted those for Jenny just regarding the spelling of a name, and then I was present by Zoom.
Right? Okay.
It's because I was gone. I'll never do that to you again.
Don't say never. So do we have a motion to approve December 14th as amended? A motion to approve so as amended. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Jesse, are you able to hear us okay?
Unless
we
can hear her voice.
And
Mike
we
can
can.
talk about it. He's 8.
So with that being said, right now we can't get our voice to work?
Okay. So with that being said, unless we got her voice to work, hang on.
I think that Melissa doesn't have her on the phone. I don't know if it's loud enough.
Hang
Are we
on,
able
I gotta
to
turn
take
up.
one of the mobile mics and place it near the
Hang
cell
on.
phone?
Hang on. I'm sorry.
Do I answer David's call?
Yeah, answer me. I've got you right here. I'm just going to
Okay.
put you on, and I'm going to have you close to me. How about that?
Hello.
And then you guys.
Hello, Jesse.
Hello. Yes.
Okay, I think we can hear. Actually, I think she's still coming through your phone. Okay. Although she's connected to me too.
Can we have her on speaker?
All right. Jesse, we have you on the phone line, and we would like to have you participate in the meeting. We need you to state the reason why you are not present at the meeting and your location.
I am with my husband in Cancun.
Okay. So Ms. Foster's on personal business in Cancun. Do we have a motion that we accept her participation remotely?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Jesse, you are officially legal now. Can you hear us okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's a little bit of an echo chamber, but it's not awful. I'll go back into YouTube because I can hear it better on YouTube and I can watch it on my computer.
Whatever works for you. We have to be able to hear your voice for you to participate, so you may want to
All
stay.
right, you'll hear me. Look, I'll project. You know I can project my voice.
Okay, that works then. We will continue
Okay.
with our approval of minutes. So council members, you have the minutes from February 8th, 2021. Are there any changes to the minutes from February 8th, 2021?
I believe there was a similar change that I made, just I was present by Zoom just as everyone was.
Okay. So we have the minutes as amended. Do we have a motion to accept minutes as amended February 8th, 2021?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Minutes passed. At this time, we would like to open the floor for citizen comments, and we'll add one more level to our participation this evening. So when you come down, be sure to come down to the podium and speak into the microphone and state your name for the record. You have 3 minutes, and we will go from there, and I will time you on our little timer. So this time we will open the floor for citizen comments.
Hello, my name is Lori Murphy. I'm with Mountain Trotter Arts, a local nonprofit organization. I'd like to thank council for encouraging the community for input on the plans for the proposed amphitheater. I knew about this proposal, and I was even suggested in passing that this might be a good location for our farmers market, and Mountain Trotter Arts does currently host our farmers market. I was surprised to hear how detailed the plans were regarding a farmers market area. At this time, I would like to encourage council to consult with our local farmers market for their input regarding what they need in a farmers market, what they desire or require, and also if they're interested in moving to that location. If the city would like to invest in the farmers market in this way, this might be a good transition for the city or the Parks and Rec Department to help host or fund our farmers market and continue its growth to become one of Radford's staples. I'd like to thank Councilwoman Foster for acknowledging the fact that many of Radford's events are hosted, funded, and organized by local grassroots movements and organizations. Again, I'd like to encourage council to reach out to those organizations, specifically the performing arts. Whether you have plays, bands, dance, it is really important to hear from them. How much more time do I have?
You got a minute and a half.
Oh, man, okay. In 2021, Craft and Draft is entering our 7th year in Radford. We did move to this location that Barry had proposed. And we did already have a few limitations on our space, just FYI. In listening to the proposal, I am interested in seeing the costs associated with using the amphitheater as an organization. We are completely nonprofit. Our event costs about 10 grand, and we break even. We don't have any extra money to spend for rent. It also takes away costs that we would give to New River Valley Rental. Again, I'd like to thank you. I'm looking forward to see how the city will work with the farmers market, perhaps do this transition, and just thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing what comes out of it.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to share thoughts, comments for the record? Sorry. Hearing none, we will go on and close the citizen comments portion of the record. For the council response, I'll actually begin and address Lori's concerns there. Absolutely, we think it's important that we be sure to connect with everybody. What you saw was the results of a study of what could happen. There's more feasibility than anything else at this point. Before we move forward, we would certainly have community input sessions and further discussion and share a lot more information. So there's a whole lot more to come with that, and we're really just starting that process. Would anybody else like to make a comment this evening?
I'd just like to say thank you to Lori and all of Mountain Trotter Arts for everything that you do. It's not lost on us. Most recently, the program to highlight our new love letter installations that you guys put forth. It's been an amazing program. Thank you for everything that you do for the city.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just want to echo those comments because I have 4 of those Craft and Draft t-shirts, so thank you. I like that. So 7 years is huge, and they fit perfectly too, by the way. So.
Ditto to all that.
Okay. Yeah, we appreciate you. Thank you. And please know this process is going to continue, and we're going to involve a lot of folks to have the discussion to see where we go. So having said that, we do have a wonderful presentation here. We have members of the Regional Commission who have joined us this evening, Eli Sharp and Afi Famkin, who will be joining us to talk a little bit about a grant that the City of Bradford has received from the Appalachian Regional Commission to conduct a study of downtown. And so at this time, Eli, I will turn the mic over to you, and if you'll move the microphone right in front of you so that we can all hear you, and thank you for joining us this evening.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
I think so. We may want to turn this mic up a little bit.
Okay. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening. We are, as the mayor said, partnering with the city to work on a grant that was received by from the Appalachian Regional Commission. It's actually been a couple years now. We originally anticipated getting this project underway last year and around the March-April timeframe with a lot of public engagement, and that just wasn't a possibility with COVID. And so we're really eager to jump right back in and start the work that was actually really underway back in 2017 and 2018. The city staff had actually partnered with the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development and Virginia Tourism to develop a really nice report which had 3 or 4 really great recommendations. And so this work actually picks up on where that project left off, and it tries to drill down into some more details in a couple key areas. One of the key focus areas is vacant or underutilized properties. The second is also working with the existing business owners that are in the community, finding out if they have any needs, whether it be providing research on retail market leakage or assistance with marketing or online sales. And then also continuing to build some of the great partnerships that were started during that process as well. So the funding for this project, it's actually $80,000 total project. We have $35,000 that was received from the Appalachian Regional Commission. The city kicked in $35,000 in local cash. And then on top of that, they're providing $10,000 in-kind match in the form of staff time. The work plan for the Regional Commission is pretty robust, and I'm not going to read each of these things in detail, but some of the things I'm going to talk about today include parking and building inventory, and then how we're going to tackle some of the community input, and then also some of the work that we can provide with conceptual visualizations, and absolutely with a lot of input from the community during this process. So our parking inventory is actually one of those tasks that we were able to get started back in January to March. There was a lot of data analysis and things of that nature that were really ground truthing information to really try and help build some conversation starting topics. And so you can see that we define the project area with city staff. We know where all the parking is, how many spaces you have, and some information generally about the condition of the parking. And this actually changed up somewhat as well. Typically when you do a parking analysis, you go and you see what's the weekday versus weekend parking situations. And you know that parking's kind of not what it is on a normal basis. So that's certainly been different. Our approach for this particular work was to look at the existing zoning of the buildings and the number of spaces that are recommended for each of the use types. Online engagement, or actually public engagement in general, and I actually left my handout, but I can pull that up. It's actually a combination of different techniques. A lot of it has to be virtual because of the circumstances that we're in. And I'm going to talk to you a lot today about the online tools that we're able to provide. But we also intend on providing some in-person opportunities as well in the form of short, brief paper surveys and some other techniques throughout the process. But today I'm going to talk about the online engagement tool that we just purchased. It's actually Bang the Table. It's a great tool. It uses a lot of new strategies and new techniques and kind of pulls them all into one location. And so this project actually has a project site, and you can see that there's a lot of general information about the project. We're hoping to launch this here in the next day or two. Some of the content that you'll see right away are opportunities to engage more traditional surveys with business owners as well as the general public. And then there's actually opportunities for idea boards, which is really neat. This is kind of like if you've seen chalkboards in downtowns or something, you can actually write down an idea. People can say that they like it. You can actually add photos and things like that. So we think this is going to be a really fun opportunity for this work. We've also got quick polls that are components. You can ask individual questions and get kind of people's knee-jerk reactions to those different questions. And then there's also this mapping function. So this is great for things like If you wanted to add park benches or community gathering spaces, where would you like to place them? Or if you ask questions like, where are the most challenging areas to park in the community, they can actually drop a pin on a map and kind of provide some context. And then if you notice, there's actually opportunities to link social media to every single one of these tools. So rather than continuing to try and promote like a general project site, you can actually just push out the questions or push out the individual tools. So it kind of keeps the content fresh throughout the process, which we anticipate going all the way through June of this year. And I'm frozen. Okay, so you can also go there and check out the project schedule. This is actually, we're here in February. We're anticipating wrapping up the parking inventory analysis, building occupancy and condition inventory, and starting to develop some planning visualizations for some of the more aspiring ideas. In June, August, we're going to move into another phase of potentially doing some cost estimating and working with some consultants to take the ideas a little bit further. And then it's also a great place to see who at the city is involved. So the key staff are Ms. Kim Repass and Ms. Melissa Skelton at the city, and our key point of contact is Ms. Affie Fenken, who's here this evening. And after the community engagement process, you can see that some of the types of work that we'll be providing are visualizations. So you can see before-after pictures. This is an intersection at the town of Floyd. We're also working with Pulaski County to do park master planning, so overhead shots of what those features might look like. And that this isn't our work in the bottom right, but we've done several town ordinances and things like that, but wayfinding is something that came up in that 2018 project. So there's a lot of content, a lot of great ideas already started, and we're hoping to continue those conversations with this tool, and we'd love to have the support of City Council to help us push this new engagement tool out.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Council members, do you all have any questions? Vice Mayor Huntington.
I don't believe so. When can we expect this to be launching? Wonderful.
And I'll be happy to send that out once we get the heads up that it's already live. I'll be pushing that out. I've already spoken with, of course, Kim and Deb Cooney and Sierra to all be on board and trying to get that pushed out to the community.
Mr. Perez, do you have any questions?
No questions. Sounds good. I'm excited. It's pretty interactive. It engages the community. It seeks their feedback and takes their feedback and puts it to use. I like that. Sounds good.
Mr. Hyde?
Same, very cool ideas. Appreciate you coming out and explaining it.
Jesse, can you hear us? Do you have any questions? I know you weren't able to see
I'm
the.
listening.
You're all set, okay. And I think it's amazing. Thank you so much. I think you have the full endorsement of council to move forward from here, and we will robustly support it. To those folks who are joining us here and those folks out in the community, this works best if everybody pitches in and gives their ideas, and there's a lot of discussion about this. So this is your opportunity. If you ever thought something about downtown Radford, what could be better, what is a problem, any issues, something that's great that you don't want to see changed, now is the opportunity to do that, because this is going to be a pretty timely study. We have a lot of projects that we're looking at for downtown Radford to enhance that district. So I thank you very much, and I think we're in good shape. Thank you all so much. So at this time, we're going to move forward with some proclamations. April is typically our Environmental Awareness Month, and the last meeting in March, we spend some time talking about that. So as we begin, we'll first declare April Environmental Awareness Month, and for that, I'll turn to Vice Mayor Huntington.
All right. We have a proclamation for Environmental Awareness Month. Whereas various organizations and citizens show concern for the Earth's environment, and whereas the problems of the Earth's environment affect all the citizens of Radford as well as the entire population of the planet, and whereas the City of Radford encourages Radford citizens to participate in global appreciation of the Earth through educational programs, special projects, demonstrations, cultural events, lectures, cleanup activities, etc., now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Radford does hereby designate the month of April 2021 as Environmental Awareness Month and calls all citizens of Radford to support, recognize, and appreciate the importance of participating in this special month. Mr. Mayor, I would move that we adopt this proclamation in support of Environmental Awareness Month.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We also want to recognize Earth Day, which is an important component of the spring session and Environmental Awareness Month. And for that, I turn to Ms. Buress with an Earth Day recognition.
Okay, proclamation, April 22nd, 2021, Earth Day. Whereas April 22nd, 2021 is recognized as National Earth Day, and whereas a sound natural environment is the foundation of a healthy society and a robust economy. And whereas there are sound economic, environmental, and social reasons for local governments to initiate energy efficiency and renewable energy practices. And whereas the City of Radford encourages and endorses participation in events supporting Earth Day. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Radford does hereby proclaim the day of April 22nd, 2021 as Earth Day, and does hereby encourage all of our citizens to participate in the ongoing efforts to recycle, reduce, and reuse, as well as other activities which promote a healthy environment and sustainable society. Mr. Mayor, I present this proclamation and move that it be adopted.
Thank you very much. We have a motion to adopt our Earth Day proclamation. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. We also celebrate Arbor Day during the month of April, and this is very near and dear to my heart. I'm honored to present the proclamation for Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, a special day was set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees, and whereas 2021 is the 149th anniversary of the holiday, and Arbor Day is now observed through the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-saving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife, and whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal, and whereas the City of Radford established the Commission for Beautification and Municipal Forests to enhance and maintain the health and vitality of the community's urban landscape, and whereas the City of Radford's commitment to the preservation and propagation of trees within the community has been demonstrated over many years and recognized by the National Arbor Day Foundation through the designation of Radford as a Tree City USA community again this year, the 7th anniversary of our initial designation. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Radford does hereby proclaim April the 30th, 2021 as the 149th anniversary celebration of Arbor Day in the city of Radford, Virginia, and joins with the Radford Commission for Beautification and Municipal Forests to urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands, and further urges all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. I'd like to place this proclamation into consideration with a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay. Now we turn to our library, and we have many members of our library staff joining us today. One of the best assets that the city of Radford has is the Radford Public Library. And if we didn't know it before, during the pandemic, I think we discovered it 10,000 times over. Not only did the library find innovative ways to serve the citizens, but came to us online with book reviews and story time and cooking with Dave and all the fun things that are going on at the library, and they serve so many components of our community. And so with that, I'll turn to Vice Mayor Huntington for a proclamation for National Library Week.
Whereas libraries have historically served as our nation's great equalizers of knowledge by providing free access to all. Whereas libraries work to meet the changing needs of their users, including building collections, expanding outreach services, and increasing programming. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions, and library workers and librarians fuel efforts to better their communities, campuses, and schools. Whereas our nation's libraries provide a forum for diverse ideas and points of view that help us better understand each other and ourselves. Whereas libraries and librarians are looking beyond their traditional roles and providing more opportunities for community engagement and delivering new services that connect closely with patrons' needs. Whereas librarians are trained professionals, helping people of all ages and backgrounds find and interpret the information they need to live, learn, and work in a challenging economy. Whereas libraries are a part of the American dream, places for education, opportunity, and lifelong learning. Whereas the theme for National Library Week, Welcome to Your Library, promotes the idea that libraries extend far beyond the four walls of a building and that everyone is welcome to use their services. Whereas during the pandemic, the Radford Public Library has gone above and beyond to adapt to our changing world by expanding resources and continuing to meet the needs of users. Whereas, whether people visit in person or virtually, libraries offer opportunities for everyone to explore new worlds and become their best selves through access to technology, multimedia content, and educational programs. Whereas libraries, librarians, library workers, and supporters across America are celebrating National Library Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Radford do hereby proclaim April 4th through 10th, 2021 as National Library Week and encourages all residents to visit the library this week to take advantage of the wonderful library resources available at the Radford Public Library. Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt this resolution and proclamation for National Library Week 2021.
Thank you very much. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. And I would ask our library staff to come forward and ask the Vice Mayor to please present them with their proclamation. We don't get to do this enough nowadays, so the rest of us can stay socially distant. Come on down.
All right, who would like to receive? I said, who would like to receive?
Why don't you all come right down here in front of the council? There you go. Boop, 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 boop. We're good?
I know.
Perfect.
Guys, Naomi will come to them. Yeah.
Should we stand?
Yeah. No.
Thank you all. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you all.
Thank you all so much for everything you do. I don't know what we do without our library. Now we can stand. Please put a round of applause. Thank you very much. The week of April 18th through the 24th is recognized as National Crime Victims' Rights Week. We do have a proclamation, and we also have our Victims' Rights Coordinator, Sarah Akers, here to provide a little short presentation on the program. I'll read the proclamation first, and then we'll move forward from there. You don't have to say much if you don't want to, but you're welcome to if you'd like to. Whereas Americans are the victims of more than 26 million crimes each year, and crime can touch the lives of anyone regardless of age, national origin, race, creed, religion, gender, sexual orientation, immigration, or economic status. And whereas crime exacts an emotional, physical, psychological, and financial toll on victims as they have lost loved ones, life savings, physical and mental health, and often their sense of security that has the potential to irrevocably change the course of their lives forever. Whereas victims know best how to direct and manage their own lives, and true recovery from crime will incorporate a victim's cultural, religious, economic, social, and personal interests. And whereas our history teaches us that by working together, we can help victims of crime reshape their destinies and ensure that they receive the support they need, the respect they deserve, and the rights they have earned. Whereas the accomplishments of the victims' rights movement, achieved through compassion and collaboration, and built on the courageous advocacy of individuals, victims, and their families across the country, inspire in us hope for future progress and greater healing. Whereas National Crime Victims' Rights Week provides an opportunity to recommit to ensuring that accessible, appropriate, and trauma-informed services are offered to all victims of crime. And whereas the City of Radford is hereby dedicated to building partnerships with trusted sources of support, including community leaders, religious groups, schools, and other agencies to better reach and serve all victims of crime. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of Radford does hereby proclaim the week of April 18th through the 24th, 2021, as Crime Victims' Rights Week, and express our sincere gratitude for those victims and crime survivors who have turned personal tragedy into a motivating force to improve our response to victims of crime and build a more just community, and further express our appreciation for those community members, victim service providers, and criminal justice professionals who are committed to improving our response to all victims of crime so that they may find relevant assistance, support, justice, and peace. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt this proclamation for National Crime Victims Week. Do we have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much. Please come forward and receive your proclamation. Thank you all so much. And you're more than welcome if you have anything you want to share. You don't have to, but you're welcome to come to the podium if you have anything else you'd like to share. Please do. Thank you all so much.
So we wanted to come tonight and just
Come on over to the microphone so we can hear you, because it's tough with the mask.
we just wanted to come tonight before the city council and just show our appreciation for the support of the city council to our program. The Victim Witness Program is 100% grant funded. I'm housed in the Commonwealth Attorney's Office in Radford City. Our program's a little unique because Floyd County is also on our grant, and Teresa McKenzie is our assistant director, and she's housed in the Floyd County Commonwealth Attorney's Office. And our program, just last year, we were able to provide direct services to about 550 victims of crime between Radford City and Floyd County, the majority of those being in Radford City. But we are very appreciative of the support that the city has given us throughout the years.
We just want to say thank you so much. What you do is so important. After someone has been traumatized with some level of crime, to then have to go through all the processes that are re-traumatizing, it's so important to have you there advocating and supporting and helping. So we want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. And I do want to mention that during this week, we do have some very exciting things planned that we are working on. And so stay tuned. We will be announcing those shortly.
Send them our way and we'll share them with everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much. We also want to take a moment to recognize Distracted Driving Awareness Month. It's so important that we keep our eyes on the road and our attention where it needs to be. Councilman Height, I believe, has a proclamation for us.
Whereas more than 700 injury crashes involve distracted driving on an average day, and the economic toll of all motor vehicle crashes in the U.S. annually exceeds $400 billion. Whereas talking on a mobile phone, even in hands-free mode, texting, programming your dashboard infotainment center, or GPS device can divert your attention away from driving and result in physical or cognitive distraction. Whereas the City of Radford residents and all Americans deserve to live in communities that promote safe driving behaviors and healthy lifestyles. Whereas preventing distracted driving injuries and deaths requires the cooperation of all levels of government, employers, and the general public. Whereas the National Safety Council and the Radford City Police Department work to promote policies, practices, and procedures leading to increased safety, protection, and health in business and industry, in schools and colleges, on roads and highways, and in homes and communities. Whereas the Radford City Police Department will provide the community with a month-long distracted driving public education campaign, and whereas spring is a time when people begin to log more miles on the road, and it is imperative to focus attention on motor vehicle injury risks and preventions, now therefore, The City Council of the City of Radford does hereby proclaim April 2021 as Distracted Driving Awareness Month and strongly urges the citizens and businesses of Radford to observe Distracted Driving Awareness Month by practicing safe driving behaviors and pledging to drive distraction-free. Mr. Mayor, I present this proclamation and hereby move to adopt it.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you all very much, and thank you to everyone for all the wonderful things that are going on during April to both promote the beauty and the environment within our city, to keep people safe, and to protect the rights of those in need, and definitely to celebrate our library. We are honored to have the opportunity to proclaim those wonderful events and those important dates. At this time, we'll move on to new business, and as part of our environmental awareness and cleaning and greening Refresh Radford community effort, we are looking at having special collection rates for April, and I'll read just a few of what those are. We are looking at $22.50 for a small load of brush, $45 for a large load of brush, appliances $16 a piece, furniture 1 to 3 pieces at $19.50, 4 to 5 pieces at $29, and 6+ pieces at $42. This is a time of the year when people are cleaning up, trying to refresh as much as possible, and so we want to do our part as a city to lower those rates to make it possible for you to do so. Council members, do we have a motion to adopt these rates for the month of April?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thank you very much. Before we move forward, I did want to ask Jenny, and I don't know if we have this answer yet. Typically, we host a hazardous waste collection day during the month of April. Do you know if we have one scheduled anytime soon?
I am not sure exactly which one we have, if we have one scheduled. I can check on that and we'll post it. I know the Resource Authority has changed how they're doing things recently, so they used to have monthly ones. I haven't seen anything from Greg saying there was going to be one this month, so I'll check on that and let you guys know.
Please do, and the reason I ask is we've had several citizens ask as they have hazardous material left over or things they've discovered over the winter that they'd like to dispose of. So we'll let you all know as soon as we confirm that. We do have several openings on our boards and commissions, and first we'll consider the Board of Zoning Appeals. I do understand that a citizen, Michelle Mullins, has expressed her interest in that board. I believe Melissa reached out and talked with her. Melissa, do you have any comment you want to add on that?
Only that she said she's very willing and appreciate us reaching out to her. And for clarification, this is a recommendation to Judge Showalter for who will have the final approval.
So we have one nominee for our recommendation to Judge Showalter. Do we have any additional nominees? Do we have a motion to accept Ms. Mullins as our nominee?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. And then also Onward NRV, which is our promotional group for the New River Valley, and the City of Radford participates in that. We have 2 openings, one for a public official appointment and then one from our Industrial Economic Development Authority appointment. That has been Kim Repass serving as our representative for the City of Radford as our Economic Development Director, and she has expressed her interest in continuing in that role. Abram Williams has served on the Economic Development Authority appointee position. Have we heard anything back from Abram to confirm that he is indeed interested?
I got an email this afternoon. I think I sent it to you. It might have come while we were in budget work session.
Okay,
So, yep.
Sounds good. So we have 2 appointees. Are there any additional nominees for us to consider for Onward NRV? Hearing none, do we have a motion that we accept the current slate for Onward NRV to forward?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Any opposed? I'm sorry, Jesse. I keep over talking you. I apologize. I'll slow down. So thank you all very much. This is a very important organization because this goes a long way in helping to market the City of Radford to our business prospects. Certainly the work that Kim does on a regular basis for us is so important, but then she has a whole team working with her. We are looking at renewing our participation in the Home Consortium. The City of Radford participates in a consortium of local governments, including Montgomery County, Pulaski County, Giles County, and Floyd County, to address housing-related issues and projects. HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, requires the consortium members renew its participation every 3 years. Our program ends this July. And so what we would like to do is consider both our participation and then looking at appointing 2 representatives to serve on the board. So first we'll begin with a motion. Do we have a motion to renew our participation in the Home Consortium?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
And then we also need to appoint 2 representatives to serve on the board. Presently, Vicki Collins and Melissa Skelton are our designated representatives and are both interested in continuing to serve. So do we have a motion that we adopt Melissa and Vicki as our representatives to the consortium?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Thank you all so much. So many good things happening in the city. One is a proposal for a special use permit at 1129 East Main Street, which is known to many of us as the Bondurant Center and many others as the old Leggett Building in downtown Radford. Ellett Valley Investments has requested the special use permit to develop 11 residential units on the 2nd floor of that building and to maintain the 1st floor in a renovated style for business activity. And as such, we are going to have a public hearing for the special use permit. Jenny, do we have someone here to go through the presentation, or this is just for our information?
I think is Joe here? I don't see Joe.
Yeah, I didn't see Joe with us.
Either. So,
I'll tell you what, why don't you
Melissa
just put it up there and we can step through it real quickly?
sure. We'll wing it. Okay. Yeah, I know April DeMonts, who works for Joe, presented to Planning Commission, but clearly she is on the Board of Supervisors for Montgomery County, could not miss that meeting to do this presentation. I have not heard from Joe in regards to not being able to attend this evening, so I do apologize.
Okay.
He did send a request in. This is, as you said, to upgrade renovate the Bondurant Center, of course, the former Leggett's. He is working, he's done a number of different projects, one being where the coffee company and the apartments upstairs, he's renovated where River City Grill, of course, Tie-Dye Fig is now, and also where New River Valley Community Actions is currently housed. He is proposing to do apartments on the 2nd floor. I know we received a citizen's comment in the Planning Commission, and we sent that letter on as to you as well. The concern being the parking. One of our, the concerns in our district is, we want to be able to promote walkability in our community. One of the ways that we can clearly do this is by providing housing within those districts. It is important for us to be looking at the parking, which you heard earlier this evening, having the ARC support us with our planning grant is going to certainly help us identify where there is an additional need. I know city staff has been looking at that 3rd Avenue parking lot to accommodate additional parking, not only designated for a small number of parking for the apartments, but a more parking. He is, like you said, trying to look and designate the population of young professionals, or any professional. It's just, clearly, it's there are some apartments that have to meet the need of rental-based in terms of income limit, but not all of them. So he is looking at 11 apartments for this designation.
And that's a similar model to what he used for West Radford above the coffee company, I believe.
It is.
So that's worked for us before. So if you'll go back one picture, we can talk about the look of the building. My understanding is they're going Move forward one, two, there we go, to the Leggett. This is Leggett in the 1940s before the current facade was put on, and my understanding is his plan is to renovate to something similar to this style.
He is.
That would give it more of an Art Deco historic look, which is really neat to think of for downtown. But they are planning to maintain the lower level for retail, and the upper level would be for the 11 apartment units. Melissa, do you have any other thoughts you wanted to add as part of this?
I don't. Like I said earlier, I do think it will complement the district in terms of our long-term goal of, having people living, working, playing in our downtown districts. Certainly, there's some things that we need to look at in terms of specifically parking, and the thought of we don't have enough, but really identifying do we have enough, and really showing that how we can accommodate for that type of growth. I do appreciate Mr. Castleberry's concerns, and I know you're going to share some and reflect on some of his comments. But I certainly, staff, number of us believe this is a good project for our downtown in terms of future growth.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. At this time, we will open the floor for our public hearing. If you have comments to make or questions to ask about this project, please come forward to the podium, state your name for the record, and speak into the microphone. So while the public hearing is going on, I'm actually going to share some of Bart Castleberry's concerns. He did send a letter to Planning Commission, which was forwarded to us. I spoke with Bart extensively over the last couple of days and have his permission to share this with the group. And it basically does address just a couple of issues. Number one, the parking concern for the building. As there's very limited parking on site, there are 3 spaces or so on the upper level that would be accessed by Pickett Alley, which is a very small thoroughfare that goes behind the Main Street area. And then, of course, there's parking right along Main Street. That is a concern, and if you have residents that need to take stuff in and out of their building, if you have access issues, that will have to be addressed in that way. I think it's very appropriate that we have our friends from the Regional Commission who are helping us do the parking study, and we could talk about options that are available, whether it's short-term parking or designated parking or any number of issues along that line. He also was looking at mentioning the 3rd Avenue lot as a major concern, because as the lot currently exists, it's not necessarily fully pedestrian friendly, and also designating spaces within there, lighting and other concerns that may be associated with that. But those were 2 of the major concerns that they had. Now, one of the big issues that was brought out was the use of Pickett Street, or Pickett Alley as we call it, for access, both vehicular traffic and foot traffic for this building. And one of the major concerns is at night it is a little bit dark. Council members, I don't know if you all had a chance to take a look at Pickett Street. It is a bit of a challenge, so we'll talk about that as soon as we close the public hearing portion. Are there any other comments from the general public regarding this project for the public hearing? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing portion and engage in just a little bit of discussion. I think there's all kinds of opportunity for us to study some of these concerns with the Regional Commission. The project is designed to take about 18 months beginning this summer, with some things coming online sooner than others, I believe, Melissa. Is that accurate? So during that time, we can continue to address before it would reach the final stage, knowing that there aren't a tremendous number of options here. There's no room for more parking on site, and there's no simple way to just widen Pickett Street or Pickett Alley to have safer vehicular and pedestrian traffic. So I think these will be things we'll have to address, but I wanted to open it up to council to see if there are any other comments or thoughts. Naomi?
Well, I just agree, having had the chance to go over through Pickett Street again, to say that it's a bit of a challenge is very generous. It's in need of some TLC for sure. So I think that once we start learning more about plans for parking, we'll have the opportunity to be creative, but we really it cannot rely on that street to provide it for us if we're being realistic, because there's just not the space up there.
And if I can add, the building does provide an elevator, which he's going to have accessible for all the units upstairs. So they will have some, be able to utilize the on-street parking if they have unloading and whatnot. Of course, first come, first serve, but certainly the overnight parking is certainly something we want to be able to look at long term.
Jesse, what do you have? Do you have any questions or comments for us?
Well, Naomi just sort of summed up what I was thinking too, so I appreciate the clarification and the overnight parking issue.
Okay, thank you. Onassis, anything?
Similar comments. I won't beat that comment to death. I'll just say the project is a very beneficial project. Melissa touched upon it. Live, work, play concept. That's how you grow a vibrant downtown economy, is having individuals live there, work there, and play there. So I support the project. As a thoroughfare, probably not going to work, but I do support the project.
And Forrest?
I really agree with everything that's been said, but I want to highlight and just express gratitude to Mr. Castleberry for reaching out with very thoughtful comments. I really appreciated the tenor of his letter. Very gracious and clearly wants to see rapid progress and is just trying to point these things out to us to help us figure out what the best way of doing so is.
Thank you very much. I would like to reiterate that as well and say ditto on those comments, because we don't often have a lot of people come to participate in the public hearings for special use permits like this. So it's really important to get these comments while we can do something about it. And I'm very appreciative of that. Pickett Street, Pickett Alley has been a point of discussion for at least a quarter century. At one point in time, there was an entire plan that had been developed for the city back in the late 90s, and that was shelved at the time. I think budget constraints and some other issues were there. So for those folks joining us from the Regional Commission, as you can see, this is something that would be a great piece of this puzzle to try to figure out. And for those from the community that want to share your thoughts, any places you've seen that work exceptionally well, creative solutions that could help us enhance this area, regardless of this project, which we don't have to act on tonight, but regardless of this project, that needs to be done anyway. There is a lot of traffic on that road and a lot of accessibility issues because there are really two sections to that road for access to different buildings in the back of those spaces. So this is an exciting time to address those concerns and to deal with something very important. Now, I did just say we don't have to take action tonight, and part of the reason for that is we have yet to receive the Planning Commission recommendation. We expect them to do that at their April meeting and then come back to us with that recommendation.
Correct. We wanted to make sure there were no other comments they wanted to take into consideration before making that recommendation.
And so we're very appreciative of that. So we will revisit this in April. I did double check to make sure that wouldn't hold the project up or create any delays in case we needed to have a joint meeting. We do not. The project will be just fine even if we move forward with it on that. So thank you for everybody for participating in the special use permit hearing for Main Street. At this time, we also need to consider our audit services contract. We did submit a request for proposals. It was issued and we had two respondents, Robinson, Farmer, Cox and Associates, and Brown Edwards. The services needed include our annual audit as well as the component units, which includes the school as well as the EDA, the cost allocation plan, post-employment benefits preparation, as well as special fund audits such as transit, CDBG, CARES funding, and things along that line. The top prospect was Robinson, Farmer, Cox and Associates. The projected services will be about $49,500. They are programmed in with the budget. They have held the audit services for the past 15 years, and they are our options. So council members, what's your pleasure with regard to the city audit contract?
I'll move that we award the contract to Robinson, Farmer, Cox and Associates.
We have a motion to award to Robinson, Farmer, Cox and Associates. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Aye. And any opposed? Okay. As such, the contract is awarded. We have several appropriation ordinances we need to consider, and all of these are from some different sources. I did have some folks reach out as we had published this to say, is this coming primarily from tax dollars? And the answer is no, this is not local tax money. This is generated in many different ways. For appropriation ordinance 1726.28 for library state aid, the General Assembly has appointed some additional aid for our local librarians, our wonderful librarians that are here tonight. And it's an increase of $18,487 that'll be used for the purchase of digital and printed books, as well as a new server for the integrated library system. Again, this is coming from the state. There's no local match required. Do we have a motion to adopt appropriation ordinance 1726.28 in the amount of $18,487?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Aye. Having heard 4 affirmative votes, we may dispense with a second reading if so desired. Do we have a motion to dispense with a second reading?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to dispense with the second reading of appropriation ordinance 1726.28. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay. We also have a grant from the Virginia Risk Sharing Association in the amount of $4,000 for the city. It's used to expand risk management programs for safety, education, and training. They will be used to purchase 3 automated external defibrillators, which are AEDs that can be placed in the city facilities, so if someone should have a heart attack, we can help them with that. Do we have a motion to approve appropriation ordinance 1726.29 in the amount of $4,000?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? A
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? As hearing 4 affirmative votes, we may dispense with the second reading if so desired. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion to dispense with the second reading. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to dispense with second reading of appropriation ordinance 1726.29. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Looking at courthouse security, appropriation ordinance 1176.30. Is that correct, Jenny? No, it's 1726.30. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I just realized that. 1726.30. It's in my notes, so it's not in your.
It's right on the ordinance.
It's on the agenda, yeah.
Correct on the
120,
ordinance.
yeah.
Appropriation ordinance 1726.30. The circuit court judge has requested several of the outward-facing windows at the courthouse municipal building be tinted, which increases security. We've done similar things down here at the municipal public safety building. The project cost is $7,223. It comes from courthouse security funds. And again, I don't know if David's on the phone and can even answer this. I think this will totally tap us out on those with everything else we've appropriated for this year.
There's still some funding left there, but this depletes that account pretty far down.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 1726.30?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Having heard 4 affirmative votes, we can dispense with a second reading of appropriation ordinance 1726.30, if so desired. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
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 Aye. Okay. I think we got it there. Any opposed? Finally, appropriation ordinance 1726.31 for a police donation. The police department has requested to use $12,983 in different donation funds that have come in. The appropriation will be used to support crime prevention programs, employee appreciation, police training, office supplies, and computer upgrades. They're in a restricted account and require appropriation for use. So as such, do we have a motion to approve appropriation ordinance 1726.31?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion?
I would just say, we would be remiss if we did not express our gratitude to citizens and businesses who are supporting our police department. So thank you to everyone who contributed to these donations.
Absolutely. So thank you very much. Any further discussion? All in favor? Please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Having heard 4 affirmative votes, we may dispense with the second reading if so desired. Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion to dispense with second reading of appropriation ordinance 1726.31. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Please respond by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. David, I'm going to turn the floor over to you, but I believe you would like Kim to maybe say a few words for us. Is that correct?
Yes, we've got a lot going on right now. As I mentioned earlier, the budget and what we've been doing over the past 3 months have been predicated on the economy and on how we're doing with COVID response and the COVID recession that we've had over the past year. So Kim's got a few words to say just to kind of lead up. I know on April 12th, I think we've planned for a presentation on economic development, but wanted her to say a little bit about some of the things that she's seeing with the economy and some of the positive things that are driving what we're working on now associated with the budget.
All right. Kim Repass, our Director of Economic Development. Welcome, Kim.
Thank you. So as David said, I'm slotted to be back here next City Council meeting to go over a full economic development update for you, but I wanted to provide you with a bit of an intro as we move forward into next week. Some of the programs and initiatives through my department, through our local businesses as it pertains to COVID, the Power Grant and the Power 2.0, which was extremely successful, so I'll be able to provide you with some numbers, as well as actually what businesses applied, what types of businesses applied for that money. A PPP and the PPP2, as well as some of the EIDL loans that were dispensed through the SBDC out of Roanoke Regional. There are a couple large retail projects that are in the works right now, so it's very exciting. One of those being the downtown Old Leggett building that kind of shows that the economy, we're starting to move a little bit. We're starting to see a little upward tick in that, so that's exciting. Unemployment for Radford right now is at 4.6%, which is good. That's approximately 382, so we're seeing an uptick in that. Construction as well as some building permits. So a few things too that hopefully I'll get to address in the next couple weeks that we're exciting about for the city of Radford. The ARC downtown study, which should go live, that we just heard from Eli earlier tonight. That's going to go live. That's exciting to get the community involved as we look towards making some changes to downtown. The EDA is also looking at some current incentives and how we structure those to bring in additional larger prospects into the city. So that's also something that we've been looking at this past meeting as we look towards in the next months to come. I actually am excited that I have an intern this year from Radford University. He has had some previous experience in community development as well as economic development. We have been working on, and he's especially working on a marketing kit for Radford. So essentially what that would look like as we bring in additional prospects to the city of Radford, how that showcases Radford. So that'll be the first look that they get when they're looking at coming to the city. We had a release for Radford University about their summer plans as well as commencement. So I think businesses are starting to get excited about the individuals that are going to start coming back to the city. The hotels, the rooms, the restaurants, those types of things, as well as retail. So that's exciting. A lot of good things that are starting to happen, some that I'm excited to talk about in the near future, but things are starting to pick up, and it's exciting. So just a little bit of an intro about what I can talk about at next city council meeting.
Kim, thank you. You know, I appreciate you coming out and joining us, and I'll speak on behalf of council a little bit to say thank you for the hard work that you're doing. We'll have a lot of questions for you, I'm sure, when you come back to visit us more extensively.
Sure.
The number one thing I'll leave you with, if you'll think about this, is what else can we do to support your activity? What else, what tools do you need? What's still out there? And let's have that as part of the discussion if we can, because that's really such a crucial piece. We're thrilled to have you in this role, and you're doing a wonderful job. The EDA is doing an amazing job with the forward-looking thinking that they're doing. But what can we do as a council to support you in that effort, and how can we make things continue to move forward?
Great.
Council members,
Thank
are
you.
there any other questions or comments right now?
I'd just like to say thank you for highlighting the fact that you've got an intern from RU this year. That's wonderful, and it's just another example of how lucky we are to have such an amazing group of bright young minds right here in our own city. So thank you for bringing that up and highlighting your intern this year.
Thank you.
Ditto, and I'm excited to see your marketing package for us. That's going to be very cool. Any other comments? Thank you, Kim. We'll have you back next time. One of the things I did want to point out, and David mentioned this, I didn't know if you could hear him over the system. The budget was really predicated on a lot of these things coming together. And the economy in Radford is moving forward. We're in a much better position than we thought we would be in when we were staring at COVID-19 12 months ago. And while we're not through everything completely and we still have a lot of challenges and headwinds in front of us, that's very exciting. So, Mike, do you have any comments for us this evening?
No comments.
Okay, thank you very much. Naomi, what do you have? Yeah, I think, David, you didn't have anything else, did you?
No, I'm good, other than we've moved into a phase of spring cleanup, getting parks all looking good, getting plantings getting started underway with that, and getting our roads all swept up and looking good. So appreciate all the departments working hard to get everything looking good over the next few weeks.
Thank you very much. Naomi?
Nothing for me tonight.
Forrest?
Just a reminder to folks here in Radford, we've got an election day tomorrow, special election to replace our late Senator Ben Chafin. So if you haven't voted early, be sure to go to your normal polling place and exercise your right to vote.
Thank you very much. Onassis?
Echo those same sentiments. Make sure you got exercise the right to vote. And I just want to thank everyone out there, including Mayor Horton, who wished me a happy 49th birthday. I thank you guys for that. I'm getting closer to 50. It's scary, but I feel good. So that's good.
There you go. I just have a couple of things. First and foremost, thank you to everybody for all the hard work you're doing as the city continues. Oh, yeah.
Jesse?
Oh, Jesse, I'm sorry. I almost forgot you. Jesse, what do you have?
That's all right. That's all right. Go ahead. Continue, Mayor. I'm good.
No, are you sure? Do you have anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay, I apologize. Thank you. I'm a little forgetful when we're an international meeting. You know, that's the thing. I do want to thank everybody for all the hard work that they're doing. Everything that you're hearing, everything that you're seeing is the culmination of the efforts of this entire community. I do want to say that a year ago, we were very concerned that support might not be there for our businesses, that we might not make it in many ways. And because Radford stepped up, we're as whole as we can be at this point of the pandemic. And I'm really, really thankful to everybody for all the hard work you've done. All the businesses that have worked hard to keep the doors open, to keep people employed, we can't say thank you enough. What we can do is continue to support you and market you and try to make this the best economy you can have to continue your recovery and to move forward. A couple of quick things. As we do that, we need to ask everybody to please all hands on deck for these studies. The study for downtown, it's really important. We get lots of feedback. Too much is not enough for this. Ideas, ideas, ideas. And then our friends from the Regional Commission will help us sort through them. If there is ever anything that you've thought about downtown Radford that you want to share, now is the time to do it. And then we could start building plans for how we address all that. And then my last comment is just real brief about the pandemic. We are moving along pretty well. Literally thousands of people have already been vaccinated in the city of Radford. Our numbers are pretty small right now. Having said that, this past weekend we've had some challenges in the past weeks. As the weather has gotten warmer, the desire for more activities has occurred. It's still a little too soon for a lot of that. We're still at risk, and what we don't want to do is become a hot spot where there are additional activities that are causing spread. So please hold off just a little bit longer. For those that have gotten the vaccine, congratulations and thank you. If the vaccine becomes available, I personally encourage you to consider it because I think it can help. And we are all still in this together. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And if there's a theme to tonight's meeting, there is hope in the future. And we are very fortunate to have that. And as such, I will end our comments there. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to second. Say good night. Good night.
You probably want this mic back, I would assume.
You're welcome, sweetie.